You can hear me, right, everyone? Okay, it is a great pleasure to welcome you again for the second community lecture of EEG for the year 2014. March has been yet another busy month. We started the month with the 17th annual gala dinner. The evening was graced by the presence of diplomats, CEOs, and high-level government representatives. It was a wonderful networking event, and a total of 44 organizations were recognized for their support to EEG for the year 2013. We received the Zajin Strategic Partner Award and Arab Organization for Social Responsibility this month. Habiba participated in the Arab Regional Preparatory meeting for the United Nations Environment Assembly of the UNEP from March 16th to the 17th, 2014. Very recently, she came back, she went off again, and she's attending this 126th meeting of the Committee of Permanent Representatives to the United Nations Environmental Programme, the open-ended meeting OECPR in Nairobi. This month, EEG chairperson, Habiba Marashi, was invited by various institutions to give a talk on sustainable development. EEG staff also engaged in various meetings and exhibitions. EEG stalls were set up at eminent universities in Dubai. Day after tomorrow, we have the 13th annual Teachers Workshop that is specially developed with educators in mind under the umbrella of sustainability, the way forward. The one-day event consists of a collection of speakers covering the topics of water management, development and energy sector, the linkage between physical health and sustainability, and CO2 emissions, and how to calculate the institution carbon footprint. We are happy to share with you that the Dubai Electricity and Water Authority, DEWA, is organizing the Earth Hour 2014, celebrating to promote awareness on the importance of using our precious resources, responsibility and sustainability on the 29th of this month. EEG will participate in the celebration as previously done, and we will be delighted to see you amongst us for this year's Earth Hour walk on March 29th, 2014 between 8:30 and 9:30 p.m. at Bayview Park, Dubai. The registration is also open for your can for a tree. The opportunity is open to all of you for registration. If you need any of information about both, you can ask the staff outside. March 22nd was the World Water Day. This year, the theme is water and energy. Water holds the key to sustainable development. We need it for well-being, food security, and economic prosperity. Each year brings new pressures. Climate change and the need of growing population in terms of number and prosperity suggest we must work hard and together to protect and manage this fragile, finite resource. At Emirates Environmental Group, water conservation, water energy nexus, food security, climate change, and water, and other areas of sustainable development form a part of all activities in some way or another. Coming to today's lecture, we have with us Engineer Rashid Karkim, head of the Jebel Ali Sewage Treatment Plant section, Dubai, who will give us a talk on wastewater from pollution to solution. I would like to share that water can cope with small amounts of waste and pollutants, but when the pollutants are more than the carrying capacity of water, it needs to be treated and cleaned. The water we use becomes wastewater, which cannot be used again for the same use. If it is not properly treated, then the environment and human health can be negatively impacted. So, our speaker will elaborate on this topic. I also would like to take the opportunity to thank Dubai Customs for the venue, Abella & Co. for the catering and refreshments, and Crystal Gallery for the token of appreciation which we will be awarding later to our guests and speakers. Of course, to all of you who are coming tonight, thank you for being here. Let us welcome Engineer Rashid Karkim for the lecture.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, how's everybody?
Good.
Very good, very good. I would like to thank EEG for inviting me over tonight to be here with you. And of course, thank you everyone for taking time to be here. Very well. So I was going to talk today about wastewater from pollution to solution. And then I was driving here and it was raining today. So I came up with a question, which I was going to raise the question now. And then I will go through my presentation or speech. And then I will see if any of one of you can have the answer to it. Now I'm driving and it's raining. And at the same time, I see that the irrigation water is on. So although it's raining, and you probably have noticed it all the time, even though when it rains, it doesn't rain often, but even though when it rains, we can still that the irrigation water in the city is on. It still keeps spraying. Okay, think about this question, and I need to know why, even though when it's raining, why do they still keep it on? Okay, you'll probably be able to find some hints in my slides that could help you. And then we'll discuss it together. Okay? Very well. Well, I'm Rashid Karkim. I've been working at Dubai Municipality for about just 15 years. 10 years in environmental protection and safety section, 2 years in the waste management, and now 3 years at the sewage treatment plant department. Every time when we talk about any issues, any requirements at Dubai Municipality or any other governmental departments, it always has to be backed up with regulations, legislations. So that's what I always start. These are a list of some major local orders, regulations that, as I go through my speech today, will be based on these laws and regulations. So it has to be legally backed up on what municipality does, the services it provides, and how it controls. Okay? The presentation or speech is going to be to about 4 parts, or maybe 5. I'm going to just tackle on industrial wastewater, which has hazardous and non-hazardous. The marine environment water quality monitoring, how that happens, very briefly I'll talk about that at the Dubai Municipality. What are the initiations on looking into the groundwater monitoring and control. And finally, on the sewage, which is going to be a little bit more focused because of the magnitude of the issue. And that's what the question is all about. As for the hazardous waste, these are the waste which are classified based on the pollutants and those liquid, well, there are solid hazardous waste as well, but today's focus on liquid. The regulations, the list which you saw, some of those specify the boundary, the limit of certain pollutants that at any time any of those pollutants exceed, it is classified as hazardous waste. And then it is diverted to different places as far as treatment and as far as transportation of such. And I just have one example of sources of hazardous waste, which is galvanizing. Probably have a lot of heavy metals and acidic. But again, the specific parameters such as oil and water, oil and grease contamination, heavy metals contamination, chromium contamination, and so on, are the parameters that will justify the type of the waste which is hazardous. So now the other liquid wastes, which are industrial waste, which are generated from industries that fall below those limits of hazardous criteria, are called industrial or non-hazardous wastewater. Sometimes, I don't know if there is anyone here from industries, but if there is, then you would know. Sometimes they are referred to as trade waste. So a trade waste, it is non-hazardous, but still it requires some kind of treatment prior being reused, reutilized, or prior being disposed of in marine or land. Okay? And one example of that is the car wash. And there could be a lot of other non-hazardous waste. Some industries, which I will talk a little bit on how it's controlled at the Dubai municipality, they have pre-treatment facilities. So hazardous waste, it's pre-treated to non-hazardous waste, but still, that has to be controlled on making sure that whether if it's going to be ending up in the land or usability as irrigation, it needs further treatment. So, what does Dubai municipality do about it? As far as overall waste generation from industries, there is an environmental requirement, which is an EIA, Environmental Impact Assessment, in place at Dubai municipality for any upcoming new industries facilities. And this study will look into all aspects of the operation of the proposed facility prior to the commissioning, prior to the investment, in addition to the raw material, in addition to the air emission that may be produced, the liquid wastewater. So at the time, the EIA will require the investor, through a consultant, if they don't have any, to have environmental impact assessment of the facility, and then that will justify, will show the quantity and the quality of the expected wastewater. At that time, municipality will look into and may require an in-house pretreatment to that investment, to that facility at that stage. So this is one way to minimize any production of hazardous waste. So then it can be pre-treated, then the investors knows the requirements, environmental requirement. Of course, there are standards in place, and the standards do talk about specific parameters, the quantities as well, the transportation, any, as I said, in-house treatment, any temporary storage of those liquid wastewaters, whether hazardous or non-hazardous, at the facility. And then comes the disposal permit. So once the facility is in place, and there are thousands of industries already in Dubai, there are permitting system for disposal of any kind of waste, and that includes wastewater. Basically, it's an online service. A laboratory analysis is required from sample of that wastewater, and then it's compared to the standards, and then accordingly, a municipality decides which way to divert that wastewater, whether it is hazardous as a hazardous treatment or trade waste, non-hazardous, and so on. So these are kind of two ways to control, to monitor at the beginning before the facility comes up. You know what's coming up, what industries, you know where is that going to be. And that EIA helps you for the later on permitting system, that you know where are they located, and then it can be followed up for permitting, which I'm going to talk about again, inspection. Once we know who's in place, what they're doing, there are inspection on a daily basis carried out to make sure that those industries or sources or farms or ships or hotels, the wastewater is handled in an environmentally sound manner, so that it doesn't harm environment and it doesn't harm human health. As I mentioned, the in-house treatment is not just at earliest stage of environmental impact assessment. At any time if the industry, company, facility goes into the expansion and growth, they might be required to embed and add an in-house treatment. For those wastes which are approved to be taken out of the facility to be handled by Dubai municipality, the municipality is in possession of the facility which is called hazardous waste treatment facility. And after the permits are issued and fees are paid, then the wastewater is transported via approved transport vehicles to the facility, and then again the permitting system, it identifies the pollutants in that specific wastewater arriving to the facility. So the staff over there, they are aware of what's coming, they know what are the pollutants, and they are ready on specific treatment for each and every batch of wastewater arriving to the facility. Some data I have here before I pass by. You can see in 2010, 127 metric tons, and then there was an increase of, these are the amount of hazardous wastewater which municipality has received and treated. Now, as far as marine environment water quality, there are 30 points. I wish I had a laser pointer, but if there are 30 points which I can show you on the map on the within the creek and in the coastal belt that samples are taken to routinely monitor marine water quality. Now I've shifted from hazardous and hazardous to marine. The staff who are at the marine environment, they're also